very relevant to a lot of the discussions here this week in Sibos. So, as Fundtech has been an acknowledged leader in the service bureau side and the messaging and now going into corporates and compliance, what is it we can expect from you going forward in the future? What are the trends that you're anticipating?
Well, you probably heard that we also have a press release with Ripple. We have a partner agreement with Ripple, and we have already implemented the Ripple interface. So we are very interested to see where the market is moving there. We think there will be, if it's only a niche, there will be a market for
and compliance. What is it we can expect from you going forward in the future? What are the trends that you're anticipating?
Well, you probably heard that we also have a press release
and compliance. What is it we can expect from you going forward in the future? What are the trends that you're anticipating?
Well, you probably heard that we also have a press release with Ripple. We have a partner agreement with Ripple, and we have already implemented the Ripple interface. So we are very interested to see where the market is moving there. We think there will be, if it's only a niche, there will be a market for blockchain-based technology, and we are certainly going to be one of the leaders in this space.
Good evening, XRP community. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you happen to be in the world. This is from 2015. This is a company that is now Finastra, based on mergers. And this was a company called Fundtech, which in 2015 presented at Sibos. And from that gentleman's body language there, he was the VP of, I think it said the VP of Financial Messaging at Fundtech. Now, Fundtech was rebranded as D&H, or D+H, in 2015, almost immediately after, or actually during, I think they announced it this was at Sibos, they announced it at Sibos, where they rebranded to D&H. If you are not aware, D&H merged with a company called Misys, which is MISYS, in 2017 to become Finastra, as we know it today. If you are also not aware, Finastra is one of the largest FIs and software integrators for banks in the world, arguably the largest. And they have been partnered with Ripple since 2015 through D&H. And just recently, I think it was October, announced on-demand liquidity via XRP for cross-border payments will be an option as well. We will get to that. This is going to be a little bit, I hope it's not too long, but it's going to be a little bit longer than what I've done in the past here, because with Finastra, there's just quite a bit to cover. You can tell from that gentleman's body language right there, when asked about what's coming in the future, and this is all the way back in 2015, right before he mentions Ripple, that he knows what's going to happen. And so I found this video today. I don't know if anybody's seen this. I thought it was extremely interesting. I want to move on a little bit here. I'm going to try to present this in a timeline format. So this is when Fundtech, right before and right during the rebrand into D&H, which is RippleNet here. So now D&H, I don't know how much I really trust CoinDesk here, but they had an interview basically speaking about how D&H, using their blockchain solution all the way back in 2016, we believe that 2016 we will see banks transitioning from experimenting in the innovation labs to implementing solutions that drive value to their customers. At this time, we see the most relevance for blockchain capabilities in payments. So it made sense to move quickly to add capabilities to our global payments hub. Now, we obviously know that XRP facilitates settlement. This is kind of just to paint the picture of how far back and how deep these ties with Ripple truly are. This, I don't know if anybody's seen either. This is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure somebody has had to have seen this in the past. This is D&H. This is kind of an overview, and I know it's proprietary too, because it says confidential on here, and it's, I think, 2005 to 2017, which makes sense because that's when D&H basically became Finastra. This is a whole document about global Payplus, version 4.6.6. and they have an entire section dedicated to DLT and Ripple-based payments, and they actually talk about settlement too. This is, keep in mind, this is still whenever a lot of companies were referring to XRP, the digital asset, as Ripple. So this is Global Payplus version 4.6.6 Clearing Processing Business Guide. You can see copyright 2009 to 2017, proprietary and confidential. Now, they go over kind of like the normal thing that you would see at the beginning of a document. They're updating it 2015, 2016, updated Malaysia. These are all the instant payment platforms, NPP. What you want to pay attention to here, and let me see if I can get to this quickly here. I will link all this like I always do. So this is going down the whole like table of contents here. All the way at the very end, you can see distributed ledger payment processing. Clearing processing on a distributed payment environment. And obviously Ripple. Let's see here. I feel like this is worth reading, so I'm going to read it. I don't think I've seen this document in the past, so it makes sense to go through it. So, Section 4, Clearing Processing on Distributed Payment Environments, Ripple, and this is a D&H document. Overview. Ripple is an internet-based technology for directly connecting banks and payment systems. Banks can use Ripple as a common ledger to clear and settle transactions in real time at the lowest possible cost. Ripple structurally alters the payment processing by enabling. Now, this is where it gets interesting here, because real-time funding I would think of as XRP. Bilateral settlement, which eliminates intermediaries. That actually also sounds like XRP, because that sounds to me like no nostro and vostro. Midpoint failure, delays, and lifting fees, as well as real-time funding, minimizing exchange spreads, credit risk, and collateral costs. The Ripple protocol enables two critical functions: a common ledger to connect banks and payment networks to clear transactions. Ripple provides continuous 24/7, 365 connectivity between banks for real time, approximately every 5 seconds, clearing, netting, and monitoring, all without a central counterparty. A real-time funds exchange to settle transactions. To settle same currency transactions, Ripple transfers bilaterally. For cross-currency transactions, Ripple sources funds at the best exchange rate from a competitive marketplace of liquidity providers. What's interesting here, and I will definitely link this document, 4.1.1.1.1, participants. Network members are banks and financial service businesses. This is what I found interesting here. Network operators. D&H lists network operators of RippleNet as payment networks and clearinghouses. Now we get into liquidity providers, which is also interesting. Liquidity providers for RippleNet, central banks, banks, and non-bank market makers. So exchanges. Messaging types. Now, it talks about PACs. It talks about MT103. Now, if you're familiar with the SAP document that says that Ripple can interface with MT103, this is the first time I've seen another document that directly calls that out. And D&H or Finastra, as they are now, mention that. Now we have a business flow, high-level flow of Ripple within GPP. GPP is Global Payplus. That's Fusion Global Payplus through Finastra. Then it talks about, kind of gives you the outline here. This is probably back then. It's got to still be X-current, but some of the verbiage leads me to believe that there's the potential for a digital asset to be utilized. And we obviously know now that Finastra is enabled with ODL, which is on-demand liquidity. So payment processing. Let me see if there's anything else really interesting in here before I move on. I just found this document extremely interesting. I haven't personally seen it. The Ripple Connect, for any of you researchers out there, if you want to find documents that are older and you kind of hyphenate Ripple Connect and try to add in some stuff, that's a really good search term to use. Execute payment. All right, we're going to move on from this, but as you can see here, I mean, this is from D&H. I'm trying to paint the picture for everybody here that, the Finastra announcement in late 2019 was kind of announcement that they were going to allow the use of XRP, for me at least, because this partnership goes back 5 years at this point. So I also wanted to paint a picture of just, here is the Missis and D&H combined as Finastra. This is 14th of June 2017, if you weren't aware, which we talked about before. Here's what's interesting, and this just gives you an idea of just how big Finastra is. The combination will create the third largest financial services technology company in the world. The company has approximately 10,000 employees and over 9,000 customers across 130 countries, including 48 of the top 50 banks globally. Here is something else interesting, and this, I want to give a shout out to Bank XRP because the next slide that I have is Infosys, and this is making GPP, Global Payplus, testing predictable. So I believe that Infosys is kind of like a systems integrator type / tester for a lot of financial institutions that are going to be implementing Global Payplus. And again, to bring it up again, Fusion Global Payplus is what is enabled with RippleNet and ODL, on-demand liquidity. So making GPP testing predictable. This is from Infosys, and you can see this is just a big document about them doing this here. This is what's interesting, though. This is also from Infosys. Navigating digital asset management using blockchain. And if you look right down here, the Infosys aggregator platform and service integration, like we talked about, I believe Infosys is a service integrator. They have Ripple. They have Hyperledger. They have Ethereum, and they have Ripple. Keep moving here because I do not want to make this video a half hour long. This is a Finastra document that I'm going to link that really kind of gives you a good idea of just how big Finastra is. And I'll read a couple of quotes from here and then I'm going to move on. So the first one is, in less than 3 years, Fusion Global Payplus has been successfully implemented in 40 branches across 29 countries at one of the largest Asian-based banks. We go down a little further, consolidate all payment operations into a single global payment hub. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what this is all about, is all payment operations, all payment options into a single hub. The best use case and the best utility is going to win. They've been doing this since 2015. They've been building whatever they're trying to build here. You saw that document from 2016, or was it 2017, saying it was 2016, that multiple banks are going to go live with blockchain solutions. Maybe that was just X-Current, who knows? But there is going to be a switch from instant payments to instant settlement. If you are not aware, X-Current does not need to use XRP to facilitate nearly instant settlement, because X-Current can still facilitate that through the legacy system of Nostro and Vostro, which means that each bank on each side has to hold a certain amount of money, and the messaging system through Ripple is just so much better than Swift's that it's still technically, it would facilitate almost instantaneous settlement. But that is not the end game for any of this, as we all know. So I'll keep moving through this document. Sorry, I got sidetracked. 50 systems worldwide. Fusion Global Payplus was implemented at one of Asia's largest banks and 14 branches across 12 countries in just 1 year. And as a result, the bank has been able to retire over 50 systems worldwide. I think that same bank, this is a benchmarking exercise. In a benchmarking exercise for a large European commercial bank, Fusion Global Payplus processed more than 15 million transactions in less than 1 hour. This just goes to show how Ripple is not playing with the startups. They're not playing with these new companies that we see everything in blockchain, the new best thing and everything else. I'm not saying there's not good things to invest in out there as far as digital assets. Like, XRP is obviously gigantic. We can see what's going to go on with that. There's probably some good ones out there, but we know what Ripple's building on, and it's not, number 767 in coin market cap as far as the actual market cap. So I'm going to link this document. This is interesting to go through. Finastra supports 2 major U.S. banks on the clearinghouse's real-time payments. This is just a really good Finastra release that they go through here. Let me see if there's anything in this one really. Yep, this is again 90 of the top 100 banks use Finastra technology. Now, if you're not familiar, Finastra CLS, and I believe CLS is continuous linked settlement, Payplus for CLS, is a market-leading solution for CLS settlement members, having now been chosen by over 25 banks across all continents, including Bank of America, which we now know as RippleNet, Bank of China, I believe that's the People's Bank of China, who just so happened to visit Ripple's main offices. I think this was 2 years ago. Bank of New York, Citibank, Commerce Bank, Callion, Deutsche Bank, which I've seen many things that kind of lead me to believe that that might be RippleNet, and NAB, which is National Australia Bank, same thing as Deutsche Bank. I've seen documents with them too. That's another good research topic here is CLS though. Finastra offers a complete range of implementation and consultancy services to support major global and international banks, encompassing continuous link settlement workshops, introducing CLS to the organization, providing training across all staff levels. So kind of see where this is going. This is also extremely interesting, and I wanted to kind of bring this up. So for those of you that may not follow me on Twitter, or those of you that may have missed this post, Finastra, RippleNet XRP meets with the Federal Reserve Board alone on June 26, 2019 to discuss potential modifications to the Federal Reserve Bank's National Settlement Service. I will link this as well, and I will read this release for you. Staff of the Federal Reserve System and Federal Reserve Board met with the representatives of Finastra to discuss topics related to the potential modifications to the Federal Reserve Bank's National Settlement Service and Fedwire Fund Service to support enhancements to the same-day ACH automated clearinghouse service. Federal Reserve staff and Finastra representatives primarily discussed a preliminary assessment of the magnitude of the necessary changes, as well as risks involved with these potential modifications. You can do your own assumptions with that one. I posted it for a reason, though. I have a ton of stuff here on Twitter. Finastra announces the launch of Fusion Treasury Essential in November 2019, which was a solution that is designed to assist small banks in automating their treasury function in the absence of a treasury system. Pretty interesting. Finastra is also R3. Let me keep going through here real quick. I'm going to try to kind of wrap this video up here in the next 5 or 6 minutes if I can. So if you're not aware, Finastra has 9,000 clients. Now here's interesting too, and this is kind of the leader into the kind of the end of this video here. So Microsoft and Swift. If you're not aware, Microsoft Azure is RippleNet. And Microsoft and Swift are working together to bring cloud-native payment solutions to Microsoft Azure. Finastra slash Temenos look like they're in the cloud. If you can see this, and this is from a slide share. This is the full slide share is linked on my Twitter, and I'll share it to this video as well. This is the cloud. SAP, who we know is obviously RippleNet, and then the partner ecosystem also gets a nice little spot there in the cloud for Swift and Azure, and Finastra, Temenos, which we know has also proven that they can facilitate RippleNet transactions through Deloitte. And FIS, I know I've seen things about FIS before. If you find that FIS is a partner of Ripple, which I'm pretty sure they are, please post that in the comments because I did not include that in this video. So let's go on Microsoft Azure here. Microsoft Azure will underpin Fusion Fabric Cloud Open Platform. So this was announced in 2018. This even goes back further here. Microsoft Blockchain as a Service, or BaaS, if you're not familiar with the acronym, embraces Ripple. And this is Microsoft Azure here. It talks about Ethereum for a little bit here, but then it talks about onboarding Ripple's ILP, which enables transactions between distributed and traditional bank ledgers as part of the package. So, fantastic. Now, this is also interesting, and this is almost the end of the video here. Tier 3 and Tier 4 institutions will be on Global Payplus if they are not already. This is Finastra will launch its Fusion Global Payplus solution for Tier 3 and 4 financial institutions in Europe and the US starting in Q2 2019. This product allows smaller financial institutions to access the benefits of the cloud without the cost and infrastructure requirements which have previously barred their entry. Level playing field. Based on Microsoft Azure, Finastra's offering will enable central updates, ensuring all users benefit from the latest changes on new product functionalities immediately, including Swift and clearing scheme updates. Banks will be able to get up and running in just a few months with standardized pricing and onboarding processes. Sagiv Greenspan, SVP General Manager Payments at Finastra, said, "We will enable small and mid-sized banks to compete in the cloud environment with this hosted solution." This is just Global Payplus. This is saying that they're using blockchain. And then we all know the last two articles here. This is from Finastra's website, October 9th, 2019. An announcement with Ripple. Ripple, the enterprise blockchain solution for global payments, I'm stuttering tonight, and Finastra have teamed up to offer Ripple's blockchain technology through Finastra's payment solutions to support fast cross-border payments. As part of the collaboration, Finastra's customers will be able to connect and transact with RippleNet partners, more than 200 financial institutions worldwide, and in turn, partners with Ripple can access Finastra's vast global footprint. And we have seen during this video just how vast that global footprint that Finastra has is. Users will be able to send international payments with end-to-end tracking and visibility into fees, delivery time, and status. Ripple's announcement here: Finastra's hundreds of customers will have access to RippleNet, blah, blah, blah. They will also have the option to use on-demand liquidity, which leverages the digital asset XRP for cross-border payments. I think that fairly reasonably wraps this video up. You could go down a rabbit hole with Finastra for much longer. This video is probably long enough, though. Hope you all have a good night, and see you soon.